What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Fearless here, and today we're going to take a look at how to build simple trap melodies. So if you're a beginner or intermediate, this is going to be perfect for you, and you'll be able to follow along exactly how I'm doing this. If you're advanced, you still might find some different little techniques or little things that I do in here that'll help you build your melodies out as well. But if you're ready for this, let's jump right in. Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick out what kind of scale we're going to use. Are we going to use a major or a minor scale? And what key do we want it to be in? So for this one, I'm just going to use a major, and I'm going to pick, let's say, an E major. Alright guys, so I basically have my notes lined up for me already, so I know exactly what's in the scale and what can be used. And you can see they are dragged outside of the bounds, so they're not going to play. So basically what we're going to do for this melody is we're going to start with the piano. We're going to build out some basic little chords here, and then we're just going to find an instrument to play over top of it just to keep it real simple. So let's start playing with some chords. Once you have your scale outlined, you can make a chord by going every other note that's in the scale. So you can see here I did C, E, and G, and I'm skipping the notes in between. Alright, so once we figured out some basic chords, one thing you can do is you can invert the middle notes. So what you would do is you just raise those up an octave. And that's going to give you some higher harmonics and get rid of some of those frequencies that we're playing in the middle. And usually it sounds better. Alright, and what we're going to do is we're going to put some bass notes with this as well to give it some lower tones. So I'm going to go ahead and copy these bottom notes that we have here down 2 octaves. Alright, so what you could do is you could also make it an 8-bar scale by just changing up maybe the placement of the chords, or maybe you change one little thing up. What I'm going to do with this kind of thing here is, you'll see this a lot, this pattern being played here, and then it basically builds right back up. So we're going to copy this over, and we're going to go right back up the note scale here. Alright guys, so you can leave it right there, and then we can move on to another instrument, or you could just add a couple top notes just to spice it up a little bit more. So we're going to add just a couple, and then we're going to move on to our next instrument. Keeping it super simple, guys. So let's jump over to our next instrument here. So some other instruments you could use here, you could use some strings, you could use some bells, you could use a flute, you could use a guitar, you could use all kinds of different things like that. I think we'll go with a guitar and make some sort of simple guitar pattern. Alright, so you could just go in here and start clicking in areas and making it sound right, or if you're having trouble doing it that way, feel free to also play on your keyboard, find the notes that are right, and just play with the other melody. And a lot of times you'll be able to find something that builds off of it really well just doing it that way. So I like to do that all the time. Okay guys, so we got this guitar melody going now. So I played this middle section here all on the keyboard. and then I kind of just, you know, moved the notes around so that they were all on time. And then besides that, I added a few notes on top here that just gave it some top little ring to it, just to give it a little more than it already had. And then just a very, very simple bass line, which really isn't even that bassy of notes, just a little bit lower notes so that there's more harmonics that it's filling. So the next thing that's going to be super important when you're making these melodies is sound selection. So now that we have a guitar and a piano melody playing, let's make sure that we have quality guitar and piano sounds. Pick out the best ones that you have, and then after you're happy with how it sounds, go ahead and then EQ out any of the frequencies that you don't want to be there, usually the lower ones. And then add any effects that'll make it sound wider or better to you for your personal taste. Alright guys, so if you feel like there's still a little bit something missing in your melody, you might need a third element just to kind of wrap and fill everything together. So what you can do is you can duplicate your piano track here. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this same scale and let's delete any of the top notes that you may have written. We just want the chords, and then we'll get rid of these bass notes as well. We're going to take all of these chords, let's raise it up 1 octave, and what we're going to do is we're going to find an arpeggiator. Alright, so once you start setting up your melody for your song, what you can really do is you can just start breaking it down like this. So we'll have a little intro on the song, and what we're going to leave in is just the piano. And then we're going to introduce everything together, and this is when the beat's going to drop, okay? After the beat drops, let's take away the guitar. For this one, we'll bring the guitar back in, but we'll get rid of the arp instead. For this one, we're going to get rid of the piano and play the guitar and the arp. And then we're going to go back to everything playing again. And then we're going to wrap it all around with our bridge, which is going to be the piano by itself again. So basically what we're doing here is we're playing every combination of our melodies together so that it's not repeating over and over again. Alright guys, so that's how you're going to set up your basic trap melodies. If you have any questions though, leave them in the comments below. And look forward to the next one, which is going to be advanced trap melodies, which we'll go over tomorrow. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Hit that subscribe button if you're new here, because we're uploading tutorials every single day, brah. But besides that, I'll be catching you again in the next one. Peace out.